What's up, guys? It is February 12th, 2026. We're gonna jump right into doing our morning analysis before market open. Likely just gonna be more bullish. I feel like that's honestly the best. That was the best like bias going into these past couple days. Um, we respected this daily fair value gap. Well, wait, that was the wrong thing. Sorry, 4-hour fair value gap. On the hourly, I was on the charts yesterday night. I was praying that we would make some sort of gap, but it looks like we just fucking chopped around a lot, which is pretty annoying, but it's fine. We'll see. London got the accumulation. Um, Pre-market we swept out London, so I want to go in here more bullish, but there honestly isn't too many gaps that I can play from. I can do EQ this range inside this 30-minute gap. That would be beautiful in order to push to previous day highs right here. Um, yeah, this would be the play. I'm gonna go into market open being a bit more bullish because on the lower time frame, we just keep disrespecting bearish gaps here and respecting bullishness. Even though it's kind of hard to see, we respected this 15-minute right here. During Asia session, I saw that yesterday. I was going a 30-minute. We respected this 30-minute pre-London, and then during London session we opened up this 30-minute, kept respecting it, and then maybe gonna assume that we open up this 30-minute in around 5 minutes per chance, respect that, and then continue higher to generate liquidity in Q. Is that gap? That'd be gas. Oh, why it was lagging? Fuck. Okay, regardless. I'm gonna assume that we're gonna open up this 30-minute right here. Maybe have a Judas swing off open, and then we have like somewhat of trend line low or low resistance liquidity. Um, and ES is kind of doing the same thing, respecting bullish, disrespecting bearish. It won't have a 30-minute gap to play off of, so I might have to just be a bit careful and see if it wants to sweep out London, or not London, but these lows right here inside of this gap, because that would be a pretty good place to distribute from. Other than that, can't really do much. I can also like, um, is this even? This is like a pretty mitigated gap, but it is a gap technically, so we could see a short opportunity going to market open as well. But I'm just gonna be more bearish, like, because this gap is kind of like it's been invalidated so many times. We're just sitting in it. Like I could see us doing something like this as well, and then going downwards, sweeping out this low resistance. But ideally I would want the bullish move to continue the trend higher. So I want to make sure that there's no like gaps that I'm missing here. Make sure I mark out all my gaps. And that should be everything. On the 15-minute, there is this one. I'm gonna mark out as well. Yeah, okay, so there's a lot of gaps. I'm gonna erase this one right here. These are just gonna be places that I feel like we can reject off of. Definitely not here. I would want to see like a more, if we sweep out this liquidity pool, maybe even London first, and then we continue higher or something. But we'll see. What's up, guys? So there was this 30-second that I faded just because I thought that there wasn't enough confirmation for bearish runs, even though we were inside the small 15-minute. Um, that wasn't really enough for me to enter, to be honest. But what I'm seeing now is like we are mitigating a lot of these bullish gaps. Um, so my bias could have been a tiny bit wrong going into market open, and we still have this hourly low and previous day low as well to target. We have these stacked 15-minute as well, relatively equal 15-minute. So what I wanted to see is a potential 5-minute continuation because this 5-minute right here is sponsored from this 15-minute gap tap. But now I'm kind of more interested in waiting for 10 a.m. And I'm hoping that we continue the structure, enter the 15-minute gap um, being created right here, and then get a move out of that, potentially like a 10 a.m. PO3 for more bearish runs. It kind of seems like we wanted to first clear out all this low resistance prior to going for this previous day high. Um, we have an SMT on this internal 15-minute. So I'd just be interested in seeing maybe a continuation move lower. Yes, we took a trade here, right here. The inversion I was looking at was this 3-minute. Now for this trade, I was waiting for a 15-minute gap tap, obviously, but then we also opened up a 30-minute at 10:30. But the high that entered that 15-minute was the high that created that 30-minute. So in my head, I'm like, okay, if we inverse this 3-minute, then we're likely going to leave that as protected as it's the candle that helped us continue lower. So in that case, I waited for that 3-minute candle close at 10:33, and we got a really strong closure, barely any wick. So I took my entry, and I have to discuss kind of what's it called? We closed right here. Yeah, so we closed right here. And ES took my internal draw like instantly. So in my head, I'm like, I can either go break even or I can just reduce my risk and see if this plays out a bit more. So what I did was I just reduced it until this 1-minute fair value gap and was using this as a way to protect my stop loss. And in the scenario that we did want to tap into this gap on the 30-minute, I can just take a re-entry because I'd barely risk anything after if I got stopped out here. But what's called after placing my stop loss right here, we started getting huge candles lower, and I was confident once we swept this internal low though, that's when I went to break even, and I had to protect my entry. And I was planning just going for a 1-to-1, but I realized like I feel like I gotta go for higher RR trades when risking such little amounts. Like risking low amounts for me has helped my psychology, but at the same time, I don't want to be stuck in this evaluation for 30 years. So I did hold a bit longer here, and I held, and then as soon as I started seeing this stall a bit, I'm like, yo, honestly, I don't want to sit in this trade any longer. So I just took my trade for I think it was like a 1 to 1.7 or something. Let's see if I can grab that. It was like right here. Yeah, so it's like almost around a 1.2, 1 to 2 RR. And I could have held for previous day low right here for 2.3, but honestly, I just didn't want to wait that long. Um, so yeah, overall trade idea though, because I was going into market a bit bearish is obviously we had this external SMT on this high, and I wanted to see if this would hold throughout the entire session. What do we do on at 10 a.m.? We inverse through, not even inverse because there wasn't really any gaps that were holding us up. But on the 15-minute, we had all these gaps holding us up, and all of them failed to hold us up. So what can I assume based off that is we want to continue lower if we start to reject higher time frame gaps and validate an entry, which we did on this 15-minute candle or 15-minute fair value gap. And we had really good draws lower being Asia session and previous day low, um, which are really good draws for me at least. So based off that, I decided to shift my bias more bearish, waiting for an entry model. Strong inversion, I would say. Yes, it did take a couple candles to close, but honestly, this is not like an insane amount, especially because of how insane this close was. Um, so I was pretty confident in that. And then because I reduced my risk, I honestly didn't even care about the trade or losing the trade because I accepted my risk and what is it called? I had that trade idea. I kind of stuck with it throughout the session. But yeah, that was pretty much the trade for today. Honestly, like in terms of the valuation, we're barely up on that count, but I don't really care to be honest. This is for me, this account I'm using it more as like a learning experience. This is the first account I haven't blown in like a week. Because I'm taking it slower, using less risk. Um, yeah. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys tomorrow if I end up taking a trade. I haven't been posting too much of the no trade days because I think they're a little bit boring. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and journal this trade and catch you guys another day.